Good morning, everybody. I'm holding the ukulele in my hand because Henry, my cat, has come into the room, and I want to kind of scare him off. He's not a fan of the ukulele. So I'm going to try to keep him from coming up and making a scene. Meanwhile, you are going to run over to jollyrogerukulele.com, grab the weekly schedule and the sheet music off of the front page. And today is Lesson 29. This is technically the very last lesson in the Foundation series. We're going to do one more lesson tomorrow on America and America the Beautiful. But basically, if you're logging in here, theoretically, you've already been through all of the lessons and you are ready to be released upon society as an official fingerstyle ukulele player. And hopefully, you're feeling pretty good about that. Let's see, if you're wandering in here, you bumped into this sheet going, I wonder how you play that song. Probably going to need to back up and take all of the rest of the classes, but who knows? Maybe you're that legit. Let's see, lesson 29, that's it. All right, live streaming. So let's close. Oh, we got to tweet this yet. A few people will be wandering in here momentarily, and I'm going to lock that up. And I'm going to close. This is working fine. And so Scarborough Fair is our song of the day. Gonna have the harmonica stuff into the ukulele stuff and go to S, Scarborough Fair. Should be a delight. We'll wait just a few more minutes and then we'll get started. Not a few more minutes, a couple minutes. Let's put this on Twitter, jollyrogerukulele.com, and then let's grab that and go up. Foundations, lesson 29. I always make a lesson 30 slide, even though there isn't a lesson 30 really. Lesson 30 is where I sit down when you're here locally, and I sit down and I double check that you can play, right? And that's what lesson 30 is. And that's usually when we have this face-to-face conversation about, hey, how are you doing? How's it feeling? What is making things go well for you in ukulele? Where are your sticking points? All that stuff, right? And of course, by the time you're through lesson 29, you're like, I don't have any sticking points. I am 100% able to play everything. Probably not, but getting there, right? All right, Scarborough Fair. Ukulele. Dun, 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 dun. Let's see who's wandered in here. Anybody? Oh yeah, Michelle made it in. 60 degrees and breezy. Sounds like a perfect day up in Rockaway Beach. Jan and Charlie missed yesterday. They were goofing off probably. Jan and Charlie here locally. We have beautiful weather going on today. Some very distant light clouds. Probably about 60 degrees out there, something like that. I don't know. Let's find out. Here's the official weather report from my phone. It says it is, drum roll, 57 degrees out there. Yeah, pretty good guess. Let's see, ready to go, Scarborough Fair. All right, guys, let's go ahead and knock this out. This piece of music is tough, and it's tough on purpose. The last two songs in the Foundation series are meant to kind of give you a little bit of a preview of what you'll be playing in Book 2. And normally we would end after today, and then we'd have this sort of summary lesson where you would play for me and blah, blah, blah. We don't do that online, obviously. So at the end of Lesson 29, you have official, since you're online, and since I'm assuming you're playing like nobody's business, right? You are officially a graduate, right? I should probably someday make up some graduation certificates. Hey Linda, wahoo, patches of blue finally. Yeah, we finally have nice weather. You can see it, Coloradans, we're like, oh gosh, we've had 3 days in a row of clouds. It's got to be Armageddon. So what we want to do is play Scarborough Fair. Then tomorrow I went ahead and grabbed a couple of Book 2 songs, and we'll play those tomorrow. I haven't finished one of them, so I'll need to clean that up for you guys tonight and get that posted by the morning. And America and America the Beautiful. I'm not a huge fan of these Americana songs, but 4th of July is going to be around the corner in no time, and I have to teach those every year around that time. So I might as well just get them cleaned up and get them done now, right? And then on Friday, we will play through the songs of the week. So you will be playing through Aloha Oe, Scarborough Fair, America, America the Beautiful, and of course, as always, doing our Better Bar worksheet. And then we're going to be talking about where you're headed next. And so basically my thought for the summertime is we're going to basically be ending the day midday classes because people are going to want to start getting out and about, and the virus is still floating around out there, guys, so make sure that you are not thinking we are free. Get your vaccines and then still be careful, I think, is the message I'm getting. But we will begin the foundation series again on June 1st, and that'll be in the 4 p.m. Mountain Time slot. So if you feel like, I'm still struggling with this a little bit, that'll be you want to start looking at your calendar and seeing if you can get 4 p.m. Cleared out by starting June 1st. But most of you guys will be on to book 2 and book 3, and guess what? Those are going to be in that same time slot. So what I'm planning on doing is book 1, here's the intro lesson. Book 2, here's some songs that we need to have. Those of you who are finishing up with foundations, just get comfy playing. The book 2 songs, generally speaking, are a little bit easier to play than anything in book 3 or orchestra. And so, but each day we'll have 1 or 2 songs out of book 2 and 1 or 2 songs out of book 3. Probably 1 each is what I'm guessing. It's probably 3 songs, which is, when you consider baritone and ukulele, that's 6 songs. That's really a full hour of music. The other thing I'm going to do after the 4 o'clock class, I'm going to have a 5 o'clock ensemble class, and that means bring any instrument you got and let's just play some music together. And so that, who knows what those will end up being. Those will just be a whole mess of different songs with whatever I can get together each day. And so some of that will be easy and some of it will be hard, and some of it will be great and some of it will be terrible, but we just want to have a time each day just to play. Right, and of course I know for a lot of you that steps right on your dinner time slot, and if obviously if staying alive and eating food is more important to you, do that, and then come back and check the archives, and those that will be available each day. And then of course don't forget your ukulele players, and so Monday nights are going to be your night. You're going to start coming to orchestra on Monday nights if you're a member of the website, and there we're playing jazz. Yeah, it's hard. Yeah, it's fast. Yeah, it's confusing, and it'll make you a much better player. So starting around June 1st, you're thinking 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and 7 o'clock on Mondays. So all that stuff's going to move to the evenings, just because it's summertime. People are going to be out and about during the day getting stuff done, pretending to get back to normal. And so that's what we'll be looking at. I'll remind you each day this week to make sure you know where we're headed. And I do think, theoretically, hopefully you're feeling super good about where you're at as a musician and where you're headed. We got lots more to do, obviously, but if you're here and you're playing the Scarborough Fair, you're like, yeah, that's legit. That's definitely book 2, book 3 level. Rob made it in, and Mary made it in. Hi guys. 58 and cloudy down in Texas. I keep thinking Rob's going to come in and say it's 99 degrees and 99% humidity. I have some cheap tech stocks for sale out in the park. Yeah, these days you can buy, what do they call them? Those things where you buy the original GIF that was famous or something like that. I can't remember what they were calling them. Crazy. It's crazy times these days. All right, Scarborough Fair. Let's take a look at it. Most of you will remember Simon and Garfunkel, and so this is a much older song than Simon and Garfunkel, 1670s, but certain things that Simon and Garfunkel did in presenting this have shown up here in this arrangement. I draw your attention most notably to measure 13. There's an extra beat in measure 13, and that's because Simon and Garfunkel put in some extra beats there. It does sound awesome, and so when we get there, you'll see how that affects your play and how you think about that one measure in your head. In level 1, we don't do a ton of time signature changes, and in level 2 we do lots, and so just be aware that that's going to happen. The other thing about Scarborough Fair, these are chords we didn't spend a ton of time on, but they have shown up in some of the other tunes, and I want you to be able to knock this out. So G minor chord, okay, is you take a G chord, but then you have to rearrange everybody. So instead of playing this note, you play this note in that something, that this is your regular G. and all you do is lower this by a half a step, half or 1 fret, and it sounds much sadder, right? So your minor chord sounds sad. Mary says, June 1st, I'm on the road to New York. Just me and my baritone moving to the East Coast. Oh, good for you, Mary. That's a bummer. We're going to lose you here in Colorado. Is that a permanent move? I guess I'm living out in New York these days. It's interesting. You can't afford to live out in the West anymore because all the New Yorkers moved out here, and now you can actually buy a place in New York. Not too bad. Now there's things available for purchase in New York. All right, so here's your G minor. Nice part about G minor is it's set up perfectly to go to F, right? Just raise your fingers up. There's your F chord and back to G minor. Okay. You got your daggone B flat. Remember, I like you to do a full bar with the A shape in front. Here's A shape, slide it forward. I like you to use a full bar, even if it sounds terrible, right? Just do it. Okay, eventually your muscle right here will be strong enough to create that chord. However, a lot of people just put their index finger over the bottom 2 strings and then middle ring like that. Okay, I do that a lot. Okay, so either of those is pretty permanent. Oh, Mary, I'm against this. I'm against this. New York's wonderful, by the way. Measure 7, you have a C chord. Yay, and that's it. That's your chords. Okay, so let's take just a minute to pluck through it. Like I always like to when I'm starting a song, just grab my chords, pluck through it, make sure they make sense. Okay, so from the G minor, baritone players, your G minor is here. Your F chord is the same as our B flat, and your B flat looks like this. Index here, middle and ring right there. Okay, and of course your C chord looks like our F chord. Okay, so your one you have probably used only very little is that B flat on baritone. All right. Yeah, good way. Yeah, Mary will be around. She knows she can't just escape that easily. She's going to have to check in on this. We got a few. There are great musicians out in New York, but I don't necessarily know that there's a ton of really quality ukulele going on out there. Maybe a few people. Back in the day, there was a funny podcast on ukulele out in New York City. They didn't continue doing it. It was like way before podcasts were a thing. All right, G minor. Let's give it a try. 1, 2, 3. Are you going to Scarborough Fair? 2, 3. Parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. 2, 3. 1, 2. Remember me. To one who lives there. 3, 4. She once was a true love of mine. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Are you going to Scarborough Fair? 2, 3. Parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. Remember me to one who lives there. 3, 4. She once was a true love of mine. 1, 2. Okay, so that's how it goes. Okay, that most everybody's heard that song. Then got your G minor. All right, so now we're like, all right, groovy. All those chords work. I know basically what's going on. Things are about to happen in tough uke that are going to be very common in book 2 that are very uncommon in book 1, and so we'll talk about those in just a minute. But first, let's go grab the melody and make sure it's making sense. So it looks like it's all over the fretboard, right? So I got some 3s, I got some 5s, I got some 8s and 10s, 5, 7, 3. So this thing's all over the place. It's why it's a stretch piece and why you want to start thinking through about what's going to be the best attack pattern. If I'm looking at that first section, I got 3s, 5s, there's a 0 and a 1 in there, but I'm probably going to be thinking about maybe playing that in 3rd position, which covers 3, 4, 5, and 6, right? So what we want to do is think about playing that in 3rd position. okay? Because you get a whole bunch of extra notes in there, but it's not going to work out perfectly because we go all the way up to 10, and so, but at least I can get through measures 4 without too much trouble. So let's grab that, grab your index on 3, play those 2 notes, ring finger, now you open, grab the 1, and then pry, ring on 3. Okay. And you could also play that in second position, because then your pinky's on 5 if you're more comfortable with it. Okay, so that's that first section. So you're thinking second or third position is going to make the most sense for that. Now the next thing is you got 5, 8, and 10. So my thought is, I'm going to go all the way up to 5, 6, 7, 8, and then probably reach my pinky up to the 10. It's not that far of a reach. I'll probably be fine. So if I'm playing in 5th position, my pinky's on 8, jump up to 10, come back to 8. So let's try that, and that'll take us down at measure 7. Then we'll have to dive down to get that 3. Let's see how that goes. 1, 2, 3, rest. So the motion was slide my index finger down to 3, put my 5 on, okay? So that's probably the least amount of motion I can use to create that section. Let's play for measure 5 again. 1, 2, 3, rest. Two, 3, 1, 2. Now 10s are your highest here, so let's just slide all the way up to 10. That means I've got a middle finger on 8, which is coming up, and then I'll probably dive my index finger down and get those 5s and 3s and 1s. May make sense to go all the way down to first position. Let's figure out what makes the most sense. So put your pinky on 10, ready, and then we'll just play that pickup. Ready, play. Yeah, so I just went ahead and slid down to first position because I know that I can reach to the 5 easily enough. Let's try that one more time. Make sure everything makes sense from the 10s. Pick up to measure 10. Ready, play. And just make sure that measure 13 has 4 beats in it instead of 3, and then at 14 we'll go back to playing 3 beats per measure. And you know, to finish out the songs, I see 3s, 5s, and 1s, so I'm probably just going to play it in first position. Grab that 3 with your ring finger at the measure 14. Ready, play. Whoops. Okay. Jan says, playing the 10th fret on the A string is a bit buzzy. They think I need a bridge adjustment, maybe. Possibly. A lot of times when you're down here on these frets, it is possible to get buzz, even if your ukulele is in great shape, because you are really flattening out your string right along here, and this mute ukulele is not going to do it, but I've seen it happens very normally. And sometimes just simply raising the bridge up, putting a matchbook cover piece of cardboard underneath it just to raise it up just a smidge will cause that. However, it's also a lot of times operator error. And if I don't press hard enough, okay, now I can get the buzziness. Right? Even though this ukulele is set up just fine, I may need to squeeze a little bit harder. Depends on your ukulele. If you are consistently getting a buzz and you're pretty sure it's not you, yeah, take your ukulele in, or you don't necessarily even need to take your ukulele in. You can just loosen the strings, raise your bridge up, stick a piece of cardboard under there, not like Amazon box cardboard, but matchbook cover type cardboard, or something a little bit thicker paper. Just slide a little piece under there, and that will raise your saddle up just enough so that the buzz goes away. And of course, every guitar shop in the world can help you with that, and of course I can if you're here in town. But sometimes it's you, right? And sometimes it's your instrument, and you're never 100% sure when you're a new player which is which. So be a good idea to have somebody check it for you. And Jan, obviously, send me an email. We'll get together if you feel like we need to. And also be aware 10, right? That's a pretty high note in terms of notes, and it is very challenging to get it clean and pretty. Okay? I do okay on this instrument, but I've played lots of instruments where I just really struggle with getting a 10 out of it, and so part of it might be me, part of it might be the instrument. So let's go ahead and play through this one time and just make sure you know all of everything you're supposed to do. I think I decided I'm going to start on third position. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3, rest. See what I did? I didn't follow my own advice, and all of a sudden I'm picking around the notes. From the top. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3, 1. Two. 3, 4. 'Kay. All right, beautiful. Remember vibrato? Right? You get to a long note like that. That's that kind of peaceful place in the music. Just take your ring finger. Don't lift it up. Just wiggle it. You get kind of this wah 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 sound. It sounds really pretty. All right, and then finally, guys, we're at this point where you're pretty good players, where we can kind of zip through a piece of music fairly effectively, which is exciting. Okay, put your G minor chord on. 0, 2, 3. Strum that. Next note's a 3. 0, 2, 3, 5. Pinky's going to go up to the 5th. 5. These two just stay where they are. Hit the 5 again. Then hit your F chord. 1, O. Back to your G minor. Hit the top 3 strings. Those 2 and 3 are decorative. Okay. Important moment in the song. You got to get your B flat on in enough time to strum it. 5, 8. And then this I recommend is when you see 10, 10, 10, use your index finger. It's treated as a miniature bar and strum down. Okay, and then you're going to hit as 8, then 0, 0, 0, 5, and then a 7, then a 3. Put your G minor on again, pinky up on 5. And you'll notice that 5 ties over, so you don't need to hit that 5 again, but you do need to hit the 2, 3, 2, and just let your 5 ring through that whole thing. Okay? Then you've got a whole bunch of 10s. So as you jump up, just put your mini bar on the 10. Now this B flat has come up one other time since we've been talking. It's going to come up all the time in book 2. It's while the chord says make this B flat, the tough uke says you got to make the high B flat. And to make the high B flat, you're going to start with your F chord, use your middle and ring finger, and then we're going to start sliding it up. So if I slide it up 1, it becomes an F sharp. If I slide it up 2, it becomes a G. If I slide it up 3, it becomes a G sharp. If I slide it up 4, it becomes an A. And if I slide it up 5, it becomes an A sharp, more popularly known as B flat. So what you got there is a bar on 5, F shape in front, that's the 6 and 7, and then your pinky is going to go on 8 on the first string. So it's quite a lot of stuff going on here. Bar on 5, F shape in front, pinky on the melody note. That's the 8. This is a 6. This is a 5. This is a 7. That's the easiest way to do this. I know it seems ridiculous, but that's how we do it. Measure 11, strum it. Now you'll just lift up your pinky to get the 5, and then strum it again. 3, 1, F chord, and the 1. Make sure there's 4 beats there, and then go back to your G minor. Pinky, F chord with the 3, hit the 1, F chord again, 3, 1, G minor, G minor, 3, 2. To the top, here we go. 1, 2, 3. He waits patiently while you get your bar on 5, F shape in front, pinky on 8, and then strum. Go. Lose the pinky. 3, 4. G minor. Let's finish up. Okay, isn't that pretty? The other way to think about this piece, because it's such an old-fashioned piece, it would have been probably written on a lute, and lute they tended to pluck, right? So we've talked a lot since day 2, more or less, about using your claw here. I'm going to play through it using a claw. You'll hear a much different overall feeling to it. It'll sound much more the way we just played with our thumb. It sounds like Simon and Garfunkel. If you use your claw, it sounds like what it really is, which is a late Renaissance English tune. So by using your claw and just being very thoughtful about taking the time to make sure you're plucking the right strings, your left hand doesn't change, but your right hand obviously changes a lot. You can make it sound more medieval, which is really quite lovely, I think. Mary says, thanks, my friend owns a music store in Olean. All right, already signed up for songwriting classes. Nice. Outstanding. Songwriting. Whatever chord is here, you need these 2 chords, and you're all set. There, done. There, you can get your money back on the class, Mary. All right. On this song, G minor, right? G minor, G minor, A, B, C, and D, right? C shows up. D does not show up in this one, interestingly enough. All right, let's play it on baritone. Grab your baritone sheet music. No, Jen says, well, maybe it's me. Might be, might not be, right? My baritone, this little guy's been buzzing like crazy. It's definitely the baritone, right? He's getting better. He's getting better. Hey Q, welcome in. All right, now we're going to play the baritone version of this. Ukulele players, you need to make sure you know your chords. Do you know D minor? That's your F chord with your ring finger added in underneath it. That's your D minor shape. Okay, hopefully you know your C shape. Good shape there. Your F shape, hopefully that one's part of who you are now. Okay, and then is that the 3 chords? That's it, right? D minor, C, and F. There we go. All right, let's give it a try. Same exact shapes. Okay, ukulele players, you're strumming along, giving me 3 beats per measure. 4 when we get to measure 13, and otherwise it's 3 beats per measure. Let's play it through 2 times. First time I'm going to use my thumb, play it like Simon and Garfunkel. Second time through, use my claw, play it like 1670. A lute player from 1670. 1, 2, 3. Whoops. Oh, I hate it when you miss the last chord. Jen asked an interesting question, which I think is always on the top of mind. Should we strum? Should we pluck? What should we do? I think a lot of that has to do with you as the accompanist making artistic decisions. So sometimes it makes sense if I'm going to be strumming, you should be strumming, right? On the other hand, sometimes you're trying to create a different texture. I'm going to strum, you're going to pluck, and we'll end up with 2 different overall feelings. One of those will work better than the other. Now, if I'm going to switch in the middle of the song, sometimes you switch as well, and sometimes you don't, so that you have the consistent background, whereas the lead has 2 different textures. I don't know, Jan, if there's a right or wrong answer to that. I do think when you sit down to play in an ensemble situation, you try lots of different things. You look for things that you feel like you can do. You look for a few things that are going to stretch your abilities just a little bit. And you also want to be thinking about what sounds the best. And sometimes what sounds the best is boring, right? I have a good friend, Debbie, and that's sort of her mantra. Is she wants to play everything different, right? Because she gets bored with playing things the same way all the time. She wants to bring something new and different, even sometimes to the detriment of the overall song. She has a version of Over the Rainbow, which you have to listen pretty careful to make sure you hear over the rainbow in the song. She really went in and just really changed it up and tried to create something. Now, I shouldn't use the word to the detriment of the song. It's definitely a different feeling than the original. And so overall, I would say try different things. See what sounds the best. And as the accompanist, you end up being a much more valuable person than you would imagine. You're serving the job of keeping the beat when you have two people in the room. When I'm just playing for you guys, I just have to guess what the beat is, right? But if we're in the room together, I can hear you. D minor, D minor, D minor, D minor, D minor, D minor, C, 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 D minor, D minor, D minor, F, F, F. So it's very easy for me to play over the top of you. And that gives you so one, you're providing that job. You're also providing the chord, which helps fill out the song. And then the third job you're doing is presenting the chord in some fascinating way. And sometimes, if I'm doing a song like this, sometimes I want a nice steady beat. Other times I want it to be very medieval sounding, very Renaissance-y sounding, classical sounding, where you're going to come in with maybe some either simple arpeggios or very complex arpeggios. So I do think it's always a great question. Should I strum? Should I pluck? Is there a certain strum pattern you're looking for? Should we do this? That's always a discussion between you and your duet partner. And you typically, when I play in duets with people, we'll run through the song a dozen times in different ways, trying to figure out what's going to work the best and for our purposes. And sometimes the purpose is to make it sound beautiful, and sometimes it's to make it sound different. And so I don't think there's a right or wrong answer to that. That's where your artistic sensibility starts to come in. So great question. Let's see. Mary says, I love that D minor in measure 18. Measure 18. Yeah, right? I mean, seriously. This whole song is lovely. I do think while this song is kind of hard to play, and it's definitely, hopefully it's pushing you a little bit on, like maybe it's a little bit out on your outer end of what you think you can do. The nice part is that it's worth doing. This is a pretty complex piece of music, and it's been around 400 years, something like that. So it's not going away anytime soon, and worth your time to work on it. And plus, since most of you have heard the Simon and Garfunkel version, you got a leg up on it. All right, guys, that's enough for this one. Now, tomorrow normally this would be the end of class. We'd have this long discussion about what you're going to do next, but we're going to save that discussion for Friday. Tomorrow, we're going to go ahead and toss in a couple of Americana songs. We're going to do America and America the Beautiful. One is super painfully patriotic, and one's kind of patriotic. And America the Beautiful was written after Kathy Lee Bates, not the one on TV who breaks Stephen King's foot with a sledgehammer, not that the Kathy Lee Bates. This Kathy Lee Bates wrote about, she traveled through Colorado and had a chance to see America a little bit, and the Purple Mountain Majesties was inspired by Pikes Peak here in Colorado, so I ended up playing it quite a bit. Those of you who aren't in Colorado are like, whatever. But anyway, it's kind of got she didn't write it specifically about Colorado, but she was passed through on her way to writing it. We'll play those two songs. Now on Friday, we'll just double check that everybody's got a good plan going forward. As I talk about all of the time, being able to play is one thing. Showing up and being able to play is an altogether different thing. And I think in order to continue playing as a ukulele player, as any type of musician, continuing to show up, and that means either taking lessons where you are. It's possible, highly unlikely, but it's possible you may have a ukulele player in your neighborhood who knows what they're doing and can keep you moving forward. But really, the number of ukulele teachers that are qualified and able to teach this style of play is incredibly small, and so you will probably want to interview any potential teacher that you meet in your local area, or go take a couple lessons, see if they got anything for you, and then not. And then also, obviously this is going to continue to be online and mostly free. The only thing that you have to pay for is the Monday night stuff. Everything else is free. And I want to keep this going because I think we've got something that I want to spread as far and wide as we can. And if we can keep people showing up, I'll keep teaching. How about that? So again, next week you will be joining the level 2 class, and then the week after that we'll separate it out into 3 levels, and you can figure out which is going to be the best for you. Hopefully all 3 levels. Just come and play. Whatever we're playing, that's what you play. All right, that's it for today. Thanks for being here, you guys. Linda made it in. Thanks, Gary. See you in the next level. Next level, by the way, we're doing Eleanor Rigby as a lead sheet piece of music, so it should be fun. So come play Eleanor Rigby with me. Jan says she loves Scarborough Fair. I do too. It's really, really nice. I love it that we have a modern reference in Simon and Garfunkel, but that we really have a super crazy old song in there. So Michelle, thank you for being here. Rob, good to see you, buddy. I'll see all of you guys either next hour or I will see you tomorrow. You got a few minutes just to play. Don't tell anybody class is over. Just sit down and play, right? Okay, guys. I'm going to pull the plug and you have a wonderful day. Peace. Mm-hmm.